Of course, sire. Do you dream? Dream? Yes. No, Emperor. Neither did I, until I began my experiments upon the Darkening. We know the torment that lies behind us, but what torment waits beyond this existence? All the more reason to hold on to life with all claws. No matter the cost.
Preceding the maddening events of the Second Great Conjunction, the Urskeks were doomed to live their lives as separate creatures, the Uru and the Skeksis. The evil Skeksis were bent, wicked, spineless beasts with teeth and eyes as sharp as their rage, and they soon learned their place in this new world, refusing to make themselves whole again. Remaining locked in their castle for many trine as the official keepers of the crystal, the Skeksis plotted and waited for a time to take control for themselves. This time came with the Makrak raids. When the raids began, Elder Karn was prompted to seek out the Skeksis for aid, and this would unfortunately ultimately end up being their downfall. This tactic of assistance was constructed by a brash Skeksis named SkekSo, who had appointed himself as the unofficial leader and mastermind of the group. He knew that providing aid to the Gelfling in this circumstance would help them achieve the status he so desired in this world: protectors, providers, and lords. But his reign initially did not go completely unchallenged. Before a gathering one day, skekSo entered the chamber, and upon hearing the ritual master address skekSo as Highness, he scoffed and dismissed the notion in front of everybody. skekSo wasted no time mercilessly beating him, striking him over the head with his staff, and silencing him and the others forever. As the Makrak raids continued, the Skeksis maintained tight control over their Gelfling underlings, refusing to enslave them, instead using them to become living gods. Eventually, Elder Karn sought out skekSo himself to form a union between them, and skekSo used her weakness to create an alliance of the crystal, submitting the Gelfling will to the Skeksis until the end of time. When at long last the raids finally ended, skekSo saw this as a victory, as the Gelfling had sworn fealty to them, allowing them into their council. And so he began a mostly benevolent rule, inviting Gelfling guards to come serve at the Crystal Castle, and even holding tournaments and events in celebration. But one thing that could never escape his nightmares: his own mortality. This very notion twisted his mind, and although most memory had vanished like a forgotten dream, skekSo was still haunted by his former tormented life as an Urskek. What frightened him the most was what awaited him if he were to finally perish. If he could not be healed while alive, what level of hell would he end up in upon the afterlife? Utilizing both the darkening, which severely damaged his body, and new science from SkekTech, skekSo began a campaign against the Skeksis' own mortality, seeking to prolong their lives as much as he could, clinging to every single inch of life. And that meant feeding on the Gelfling's very essence. Upon the murder of Almadra Marin, skekSo seized the opportunity to end all relations with the Gelfling, and began to enslave them for their own dark purposes. In small groups, one by one, they all began to fall victim to the crystal, giving their very life to be consumed like wine. However, despite all of his best or most evil efforts, skekSo's body would eventually fail him, and he became too weak to even continue to attend ceremonies of the sun. Almost overnight, his body withered and died. His image finally faded from this world, and all of his nightmares became a reality. What he had been fearing the most, his certain death, had at long last arrived. Although only a handful of Skeksis actually cared about his death, the Emperor's passing was a massive deal to the Council. This meant that even the Emperor's will could be overtaken, even the Emperor could perish, and this might mean they were soon to follow. But unlike skekSo, none of them would go to the grave as tormented, for only a void of blackness and pain awaited this cruel lord. So my friends, now it's time for all of you to sound off about one of the most evil beings and creatures in the entire universe, the Emperor skekSo. Leave all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the Great White Void, and as always, until next we meet, take care, and I'll see you guys back here for the next video very soon.